On this week's episode, baseball is back. Opening day is finally here, so we'll dive into some futures, who will win the World Series MVP and Cy Young. We recap the dirt race in Bristol, the match play tournament, and we have a loaded random thoughts segment. Follow us on Twitter at the Vig Bets for our picks, line updates, and general news throughout sports.
This week's episode brought to you by Action 24/7. They are a reliable sportsbook with thousands of active players from all around the world. They cater to everyone's needs with their in-demand products from in-game sports betting, live casino, esports, and much more. They provide fast payout, great bonus structure, and 24/7 customer support. Put your action on baseball's opening day, the Final Four, and much more. Sign up today and use code THEVIG and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit.
Okay, here we go. All right, so I just want to say right off the bat, congratulations to you, me, and everybody. We have made it through. It's April. Today's the 31st, but assuming we wake up in the morning, we have survived Problem Gambling Awareness Month.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I see signs for it pretty much every day.
So, maybe because I don't have a problem. Maybe that's what it is.
Right, yeah, it's a good thing.
Right. We're gonna jump right into this race. I want to start off by saying I'm kind of pissed about it.
Okay. Why?
Because it was rescheduled.
Yeah.
To 4:00 on Monday.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we make zero money doing this. So I have a job and have to go to work.
Right.
And I watched maybe the last 40 laps.
Yeah, I'm actually right there with you. I watched the first, I want to say maybe I saw the first 10 laps because I was also at work, but the first 10 laps at Bristol, that's like a few minutes. So I saw that, and then I saw
30
the
seconds.
Yeah, I saw the final stage, which was 50 laps. So I was pissed about that too. I wanted to see the truck race. That was at noon. Couldn't even see that. So I don't understand it. They have lights. Why not do it at night? I guess one thing I saw was they don't want to go up against the Elite Eight.
Yeah, but you would think, there were games Sunday too they were going up against. And the whole thing about every year when they start their Florida swing, right? It's like there are thunderstorms at 3:00 and they refuse to have the races at noon because they want to get viewers from the West Coast.
Yeah.
So they push the races back on Sunday. They all end up getting rained out because they push them back. And then they move it to Monday. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Overall though, it was cool. When I first was watching, I was like, damn, this kind of sucks. Like Kyle Busch jumped out to a quick lead, had to pit like 10 laps in because he started overheating because his grill was just stuffed with mud.
Right.
People couldn't see. They were crashing into each other because they couldn't see. And I was kind of like, this is kind of shitty. But the more I watched it, the cooler it was. I'm a fan.
Yeah. I don't like those boring races when it's just nothing happens.
Yeah.
So, I was able to catch some here and there on my phone at work. Did have it on in the background on one of the TVs, but couldn't really sit down and watch. And it was awesome to see all the crashes, guys turning sideways. Just,
yeah.
I had Larson. He was the heavy favorite, and he basically, Bell was the second favorite, and he spun out. No one even touched him. Then Larson hit him, and then I think Larson crashed again later too. I didn't see it, but
yeah, I want to say Larson ended up like 2 laps down by the end of the race. So
yeah,
that kind of stinks. It would have been, although he was the heavy favorite, and I do like to see kind of nobody's win it in that scenario. I was kind of rooting for Kyle Larson just because he's the dirt guy.
Yep.
That didn't pan out. Joey Logano won. He was the 18th favorite, plus 3,000. So no dirt experience kind of paid off there. Okay. NASCAR is on a bye week. So
thank God.
Thank God, because I am a shit show right now. I went 0-2. I faded Stenhouse, who gets second place for probably the only time he will ever get second place. But I faded him with Kyle Busch, who couldn't stop crashing. He kept climbing back up in the leaders or the lineup, whatever you want to say, but then would just crash. And then I had Bubba Wallace, who was ahead of him the entire race, and then Ricky Stenhouse gave Bubba a flat tire and took him out of the race. So I was not happy at all. 0-2.
Savvy veteran move. Just give him a flat tire. It's me every time I play video games.
I need this bye week so badly. Gotta regroup.
Right.
But
I also had a bad week, but I was expecting that with the match play. Completely different format. Just kind of the same thing with NASCAR. We were saying last week, like it's a weird week for us. Like NASCAR is on dirt, and then golf is match play, which is nothing like a normal tournament. Fucking Matt Kuchar, man. Just, I don't know if you saw when we initially did the outline, I put like the biggest font possible for the golf recap. All I wrote was fuck Matt Kuchar.
Yeah, well, I thought you were kind of like trolling me because when I opened it on my phone, all I could see was a giant F. And the only thing I had on there was the Food City Dirt Race. So I don't know what I thought was happening. I think maybe I thought you were like making fun of me for going 0-2, but that was even before this happened. So I don't know. But then I scrolled and it's just this size like 60 font. Fuck Matt Kuchar.
Yeah, fuck Matt Kuchar. That's my recap.
What happened? Wait, why?
So because it's match play, you play head to head, and Matt Kuchar was just hot, and he literally took my guys out the round before I had them hitting, like one after the other. So
well, and you kind of put yourself in a box, right? Like all your guys couldn't.
And it didn't even matter because Matt Kuchar ended up winning before that round. So I had
Cooch.
Yeah, so I had Kuchar played Kistner, and all I needed Kistner to do was win that round and get to the next one, and I'd be fine. And he would hit, and then I needed Spieth to win the next one, but Kuchar just took them out one by one around early. So that kind of sucked. It was fun to watch. Like I said, like I didn't even want to really bet on last week because it was just, that's what happens. I mean, there was, forget who it was, the first day, shot the second best round. Like if you looked at the scores, he had like 8 birdies. He shot 8 under par. He lost by 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then there's guys that shoot, +1 that end up winning. That's just the way it goes in those match plays. But like I said, it's fun to watch. It's a little frustrating to bet on because I'm not really a head-to-head gambler when it comes to golf, which is basically what this amounts to. So yeah, Kuchar ruined my life one day at a time. And then I think then I had Max Homa to win Group 4, and he went all the way to a playoff in Group 4 against Billy Horschel. Had 2 putts to win it, just missed both of them. I mean, the first one on the first playoff hole, he left literally like 1 rotation short. It was center cup, just short. And the second hole, he kind of skirted it by left edge, just missed. And once you miss those first 2, I was like, you don't get that many opportunities to win. There's no way he wins. Horschel beat him, and then he went on to win the whole thing. So he was plus 8,000 to win the whole tournament. Wow. So there was only 1 player inside the top 30 to make it out of the round robin.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
John Rahm was the 3 seed. He was the only guy, I believe, in the top 30 to make it out, which is, it is crazy.
And then Sergio had an ace to win a playoff.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So there were a lot of fun moments because that format is just exciting all the way through. It's not like 2 guys at the end. I mean, it does end up being 2 guys at the end, but every day matters. Just a couple of highlights or lowlights, depending on how you want to look at it. Rory hit it into someone's backyard, into their swimming pool.
Wait, so I went 1-1. So didn't I have the exact opposite ends of the spectrum on both my win and my loss? It wasn't Poulter beating Rory like a huge margin, and then I had Gooch beating I'm blanking.
So they were the biggest blowouts. They were both the biggest blowouts of the day. I think they each won by 5 holes. 1 you won, 1 you lost. So
so positive.
Right.
I think I won 0.4 units, so still negative but positive on the weekend. Chipping away.
So Rory hit it into someone's swimming pool. I don't know if that's out of bounds or a water hazard or both. I'm not really sure the official ruling on that. Kevin Na called out DJ for picking up the ball next to the hole because you have to technically concede the putt in order for them to pick it up, and he didn't concede it. And DJ picked it up, and he called him back onto the green, and he was like, "You have to wait till I pick it up. I'm gonna let you have the hole, but don't do that again." And DJ was pissed. It was a little bit of gamesmanship, I think, because DJ was up at that point, and he ended up losing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
DJ just went into the little Porta John after that, ripped a few Dustin Johnsons, and got back on the course.
Right. I heard on the radio, I don't know how accurate this is because it was on PGA radio, not any type of gambling radio, but they were saying the over under for playoffs was like 2.5. There ended up being 8 playoffs coming out of pool play.
Yeah, and I mean, knowing that there was 8 and hearing that the line was 2.5, it seems like no way it was that low.
Right. And this was Saturday. This was Saturday when they were talking about it. No, Friday. I'm all confused because the tournament
started Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it was Friday when they were talking about this. So it was the final day of pool play, which is crazy because you would think you'd be able to look at the schedule and kind of see like, there's a possibility for a bunch of them. And they were like 2.5 is the line. And 8 of the matches ended up in a playoff, which is
and it seems absurd. It seems kind of like that's how it should be almost. I don't know.
Right.
It's in match play. Obviously, a playoff is much more likely than regular.
Yeah, but this was to win the pool. It wasn't like head to head. So it was after it was to win the pool because it's the winner of the 4 players. So
that makes sense.
A lot of guys split and then halved, and then it just like worked out perfectly for there to be 8. And then Kuchar got a giant break. This really pissed me off. Obviously, the whole theme of this golf tournament is fuck Matt Kuchar. So I actually like Matt Kuchar. I'm a fan of his, but not when he cost me a bunch of money.
Yeah.
He hit the ball behind the scoreboard, and he got a free drop. And he wasn't even behind the scoreboard, but one of these bullshit rules. So the scoreboard is here. There's a tree next to it, and if you are in a club's length of the scoreboard being in your line of view to the flag, you get a free drop.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a straight line of view from his ball to the flag, but because he was in the club's length, he got a free drop. So got to move it away from the tree and then ended up hitting it on. And that was the 16th hole against Spieth. And they ended up tying that hole, and Kuchar ended up winning by 1. So
those little rules. I don't know really how you get around them, though.
Yeah. I mean, you don't. It's just a bad break. I'm just waiting for it to be in my favor. It seems like it's against me every week.
Yeah. All right. So we're taking a week off from NASCAR, obviously, as the bye. Yep. Golf taking the week off.
Oh, Easter. I was going to say, why is there a bye? Easter Sunday.
It makes sense that NASCAR would take Easter Sunday off.
Yeah.
But I think you might have some picks for this golf weekend, right? But we're not doing our normal dive.
I'm not going to do a full breakdown. I'm just going to give a couple quick picks.
Yeah, Masters next week, so we'll have a big episode on that. And Martinsville is the next NASCAR race. So that's a good weekend, Masters and Martinsville. All right, random thoughts. Some college pro days. Did you see Belichick and Mac Jones? So, first of all,
I'm shaking my head because that's what Belichick did, not because.
Okay. So that was funny. That's the only clip I saw from Mac Jones is he overthrew somebody and they cut to Belichick and he's just shaking his head. I don't really understand the pro days because does it help anybody?
I think some of the stuff does.
Quarterbacks, like the top 5 quarterbacks, does it really help them?
I think like the 40-yard time and some stuff like that does. And you look at footwork and you look at quick release and that stuff, but
is that stuff they don't already know? Like, I feel like in
game film is probably better.
Right. That's what I mean.
Right.
Like you see that Mac Jones clip. That's the only clip I saw. So I don't know how his pro day actually went, but you see that and it's like, everyone's like, off Mac Jones now because of that one clip.
Right.
It seems like maybe the type of thing that can only serve to hurt you. And then Kyle Pitts should be like number 1 overall pick. The guy is a freak.
Mhm.
So 6'6", 245 pounds, ran a 4.44 40. He's got the biggest wingspan of any wide receiver or tight end in the last 20 years. So to put it in perspective, he's bigger than Calvin Johnson, bigger wingspan than Calvin Johnson, and less than a tenth of a second slower than Calvin Johnson. So the guy's just an absolute freak.
Yep.
And he had 0 drops last year. So that's the pick of the draft from pro days, from what we saw from pro days.
From those things I just said don't matter.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, there's a million people I hope fall to 8 for the Panthers to take, but he's in there.
I don't think he's going to be one of them.
No, I don't think he'll fall to 8.
If I'm the Dolphins at 6, I'm taking him.
Do you take him or do you take, Jamar Chase or
I think you have to take him.
One of Tua's guys.
Right.
Waddle or Devontae Smith.
I think the thing with tight ends is, I mean, you see every year, I mean, TJ Hawkinson, Noah Fant, yes, they're good, but tight ends are so rare. Like those stud tight ends are so rare where there's receivers every year.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 years, especially the receiver draft classes have been so deep that if you have an opportunity to take a guy that's going to be right off the bat, top 5 in the league at his position, you have to take him.
Yeah. And the Dolphins do have Gesicki, who is good.
That's true.
But, Kyle Pitts, again, he might be the type of guy that's so good, you need to take him.
Yeah, generational talent.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in best player off the board.
Yeah.
To an extent. Like, not if it's, like, you don't take a quarterback if you have Mahomes,
Right.
But
right. Yeah, but I mean, everybody knew he was a crazy athlete, but once I saw just his numbers, seeing the comparisons to someone like Calvin Johnson, you're like, wow, that's insane. It's kind of like a DK Metcalf effect. Like when DK came out in the combine, everyone was like, this guy, it shouldn't be real.
Right.
It's kind of seeming like Kyle Pitts is that same person. All right. Final 4. It's set. It might be the worst Final 4 ever. It's fun to have these teams win throughout the tournament, and I don't really care that the Final 4 kind of sucks. I like that these teams are there because it's kind of weird, but it's going to be, for all those people who love to talk about ratings, I would imagine the ratings are going to be pretty low.
Yes and no. UCLA is one of the most historic basketball programs there is. So them being there is kind of cool from, first 4 to Final 4. That's a story in and of its own. I think Gonzaga's got a pretty big following too.
Yeah.
Baylor,
Final 4 ever, right?
Baylor, I think Gonzaga's been in the Final 4. Weren't they there with Morrison a few years ago?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Baylor, I have no idea about their fan following in Houston.
Right. Yeah. Not much.
Right.
Not much there. But I mean, I got half of my picks are here. So not terrible, not great. But I don't know. So we've got Baylor -5 and Gonzaga. This is the largest spread in the history of the tournament in Final 4. Gonzaga -14 versus UCLA. I don't really have any picks here. I don't know if you have anything to say about it, but Final 4 is set. So,
yeah, I don't really have any picks either. I mean, I had Houston and Michigan in my finals. So, I mean, I guess I'm going with Houston in that game, but
yeah, I would say UCLA plus the 14. I mean, that's so many points, and Gonzaga is that good, but I mean, it's UCLA. Pac-12's been elite, so.
And at some point, the pressure of being 30-0 is gonna get to you.
Right. Yeah. So that'll be exciting. Those games are on Saturday. When is the championship?
Monday.
Okay, so yeah, our next episode will be post-championship. And then, okay, so this is a question I had. What is the rule? Do you know the rule? But it infuriates me, especially mainly gambling, is someone makes a shot in college basketball, the clock just keeps running and
Yes.
running. And like the ball rolls away, it's rolling into the alleys of the court and it's still just going. And I need points to be scored. I'm freaking out. Doesn't it stop? Does it stop when under 2 minutes?
I
Because it
believe,
stops, right?
yeah, it
Yeah.
stops when it hits the floor.
I thought it was when it leaves the bottom of the net.
I think it's when it hits the floor.
Okay. I hate it because
I mean, it's the
for
same as
most of the game,
football.
I know, and I hate that too because
Football's
it
the
never
same
seems
way.
to be
Yeah.
consistent.
If
But
if I think it's the last 5 minutes, right? In
yeah,
football, if you go out of bounds, the clock stops. But before that, it just keeps going.
yeah,
Basketball would take forever if they stopped
already
it every
does.
time.
Those last few minutes are infuriating.
That's because the clock stops. Now you want that the whole game.
Yeah. But that was a thought I had when watching the games. Now this I'm positive you don't know this.
I want to, just say one other thing about that,
Okay.
about the end of basketball games. I'm a firm believer in kind of like in football and basketball. I think if you foul in the last minute, there should be a 10-second runoff.
I would like that because that's why I hate watching basketball.
Right, because the foul. If you do a 10-second runoff, then teams aren't just going to hack every time.
Yeah.
I understand the strategy of it, but
Right.
I think it makes the game a little more interesting if you run the clock off there at the end.
Yeah. So I found this out earlier this week and it blew my mind. It was a little upsetting. I don't even know if it's real. Like it blew my mind. When you look at a weather forecast, it says 50% chance of rain. You're like, okay, there's a 50%, like it's a coin toss. It's either going to rain or it's not. Apparently that's not what the percentage means. So if you're like, say you look at Pittsburgh and it says 50% chance of rain in Pittsburgh, the 50% means it will rain over half of Pittsburgh.
No. What?
Yeah. So the percentage is like the area.
Where did you find this information? And I need to see
TikTok.
it. So it's not real.
No, but it was like a meteorologist, and it was like when you tell people what the actual percentage means, and it blew my mind, and it made me kind of upset.
I don't believe it. I'm going to refuse to believe it.
I guess it's kind of the same thing. Because if it's raining over half of your city, you still have a 50% chance that you're in that half. But yeah, so maybe we can get a fact check on that. But if it's true, I'm 25 years old and I'm just learning this now.
Yeah, I'm 33 and I didn't learn it today. I refuse.
But yeah, there's that. That's a mind-blowing fact. Potential.
Right.
Alleged fact.
Right. We're supposed to get like 10 inches of snow tomorrow. And
are you?
Yesterday, if you looked at the weather app, it said 70 degrees outside, but then in the corner it says winter weather advisory. I'm like, that makes zero sense.
Yeah, we're supposed to get like less than 1, but I saw up north, I saw 8. But are you actually going to get that much? Because it warmed up, I think.
I don't think so. I think they've reduced it to like 3 to 5.
That's still so much.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it's expected. You always get one last one before. Yep. All right. And then here's a nice little bet I'd like to hear. I think the answer. Okay, maybe the answer is not. I'll just let you give your answer.
Okay.
You get $1 million bet. It's kind of like physics class. Take out all type of fatigue. Like, you know how in physics it'd say, forget wind resistance, stuff like that. Take out all type of fatigue. You have Justin Tucker, Steph Curry, and Justin Verlander. So you have $1 million bet. Each of these guys has to do 100 things in a row. So Tucker is 100 40-yard field goals in a row. He can kick off a tee. Curry is 100 3-pointers in a row. Verlander is 100 strikes in a row. He can throw whatever speed he wants, whatever. Which do you bet on?
Verlander.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say that's the easiest one to just take out of the equation.
He can throw any speed he wants. If Verlander
Yeah.
wants to just throw 80, he's going to throw the ball exactly where he wants to at 80 miles an hour 100
Really?
times in a row. I mean, Curry's the hardest.
Yeah, I know. Just that thing that pops in my head is that video of him hitting threes for like 30 minutes straight. But my answer was going to be Tucker.
Yeah.
But I did not think that Verlander would be such a no-brainer, but I believe you. You're the baseball guy. So
Yeah, I just feel like if he had to like break 90 and do it, it would be a little harder. But
if he can just throw.
if
And
he can,
yeah, you're
if he
right.
can
'Cause
just,
I'm thinking in a game, but they're like throwing their heart out in the
Right,
game. So
right.
yeah, maybe you have a point there.
All right, what do we got up next here? Do you see anything about this?
Yes, I did.
I can't remember who it is. I just tried to look it up quick and couldn't find it.
It is Coward is his last name.
He's a
Rashad
defensive,
Coward,
yeah, defensive lineman.
something like that.
Anyways, he's gonna get traded, and this broke because somebody was playing Call of Duty Warzone, and you could hear him in the background getting off the phone with somebody saying, like, I'm gonna sign a 3-year deal and then get traded. So
Pretty
just-
cool.
yeah, news breaks any way possible.
Yeah, apparently it was his wife playing Call of Duty.
Right.
She had her mic on, and the guy was like, whatever. Yeah, exactly what you said. So funny. I wonder if it's causing any problems, but pretty funny. I was surprised stuff like this kind of, I guess maybe not, because it's his wife playing video games.
Right.
How often does that really happen?
Right. I mean, especially now though, with everything being Zoom, and I mean, you had all the pictures from the draft, right? Like Vrabel's house, the guy was sitting in the toilet. You could see the reflection in the mirror,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But you know, smartphones everywhere. I think you're gonna see more and more stuff like this.
Yeah, definitely. And he's not really a big name either.
No.
So it'd be cool if it was like Russell Wilson, like Sierra was on.
Right. Sierra's just playing Call of Duty. Michael Strahan, no longer a member of the Gap Tooth
I
family.
have a couple thoughts on this.
Okay.
One is it's an April Fool's joke.
It's too early.
I know it's too early, but it might be. Like maybe tomorrow he's like April Fool's. Two, why now? Like,
I don't know.
Urlacher got his hair, but that was after he ended his NFL career and was like going to go into TV. So it seems like the type of thing you're going to do. Like, I want to be on TV. Now I'm going to do it. But that was his thing. So why do it now?
Yeah. And I agree with that because that literally was his thing. Like he talked about
Right.
it. Like
It's his whole brand.
right. So
3, what do they do with his head statue in the Hall of Fame?
they just fill it in.
But overall, I don't care. If he wanted to do it, good for him.
Right,
He
right.
got it done. His
I
teeth
mean-
look a little ridiculous, but
right. He looks weird.
like-
I don't know how that makes sense, but he looks weird now.
well, his teeth are just too perfect.
Yeah.
They're too perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man, but good for him, I guess. He's got the money
You
to
know,
do it.
maybe he's been self-conscious about it for
Yeah,
his
I'm
entire
sure
life.
you have
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
You have to be. He can't drink soda anymore.
I was
though.
just gonna think, how many times do you think he's gonna bang a straw off that spot in his teeth?
He's gonna end up just being like, give me back my teeth.
Right.
And then, did you see these Satan shoes?
I did not see the Satan shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
This has been like the biggest news of the past week.
Okay.
So Lil Nas X is a rapper.
I assumed based on the name.
Yeah, you know the Old Town Road song?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's him.
Okay.
He has collabed with some artist group or just an artist to make these Nike Satan shoes, and they're releasing 666 pairs. Satan pun. and each pair has human blood in it.
The fuck?
Yeah. So people are pissed. Christians are pissed.
Well, yeah.
And everyone's like, fuck Nike. But Nike has nothing to do with it.
It's not even a Nike brand.
Well, it is. It's a
Oh,
Nike shoe, but they have nothing. It's this artist and him, Lil Nas X, bought these shoes and they're customizing them.
okay.
So Nike is suing, I'm pretty sure, but people are
Okay.
still pissed at Nike. But the thing about this is people are so pissed about the human blood in the shoes. But the only difference between these shoes and regular Nike shoes is the Satan shoes selling point is advertising the human blood in them, as opposed to regular Nike shoes. You have no idea how much child labor blood is actually in each pair that you get.
I just feel like that's bad juju. Like I wouldn't wear those.
Oh no.
But yeah, it's just you're gonna get hit by a
creepy.
bus. You're gonna something
It's just-
bad's gonna happen to you.
It's creepy. They're going for a ton of money. I can't imagine how much money the 666 pair will go for, but people are crazy. And it's like, I forget where I saw this. It might be one of those weird TLC shows, but people like, there's a type of people, they walk around with like a vial of blood around their neck.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, what are you, why?
Yeah. Vampires, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what you call them.
We should come out with garlic shoes.
Right.
Funny. But yeah, that was like the big news of the week. People are freaking out.
I can't believe I didn't see anything about that.
John Bones Jones is like, I'm burning all my Nike shit.
Whatever. Yeah, hardcore Christian, Mr. Cokehead beats women up.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like if you're gonna hate Nike, you have to go all the way.
Yeah.
Because the child labor thing has been the news for like 15 years and nobody cares.
Right.
Then something that Nike has nothing to do with, people are like, that's it. Colin Kaepernick knees. That's it. I'm done with Nike. Meanwhile, the sweatshops in China.
Classic America.
Yep. But that does it for our random thoughts. Pretty good one this week.
Yeah. All right. Opening day is tomorrow.
Yep. First.
Best day of the year. One of them for me. I think I've said it on the show before. Opening day is just, I feel like a kid every year when I wake up at Christmas on opening day.
I'm excited.
That and the Masters, which is next week. This is like the best time of year. Like get, baseball starting, the Masters happening. We're getting close to NHL and NBA playoffs. Like
the draft, we got basketball championship.
Not NBA playoffs, I guess, this year because the schedule is different. But love opening day. Everyone's got a shot to win at that point. Nobody's out of it yet.
Yep. And the Mets, this is the Mets, highlight of the year. They're the best day team of all time. So it's only down from here.
And the Mets are traditionally one of the top 5 to 10 teams on paper in baseball.
Yeah, it sucks. Because they're, by the end of the year, on paper, they're the bottom 5 to 10.
On paper, they're still one of the top 10, but in reality, they are not top 20.
No. So I expect more of the same this year. It's exciting because Steve Cohen changed. He's got about twice as much money as the second richest owner in baseball. So that's a glimmer of hope. But until they extend Lindor, I have you got to wait to see with Cohen. Could be more the same.
Maybe your dad's right. Shout out Big Zaddy. Maybe Lindor they shouldn't have traded. Who did they trade for him and he was pissed about it?
Rosario,
yeah.
He was like, I'll bet you anything Rosario has a better year.
Anyways,
we'll see. I mean,
time will tell. Lindor could, buy those shoes and get hit by a bus. So
don't say we didn't warn you.
Right. Do they have a cleat version?
I don't think so. That's a good investment.
Right. All right. So do we want to start right off the top with the World Series odds?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. So the Dodgers, obviously the favorite. They won the World Series. They seem to be there I don't know what, 4 out of 5 years, something like that. They're there all the time.
Yep.
All they did was go out and get better after winning the World Series. So they're the favorite plus 300. The Yankees, highly overrated, plus 550.
Yep.
For those listening, not watching, I am in a Red Sox jersey and hat right now. So do what you will with that information. The Padres plus 800, White Sox plus 1,000, the Braves plus 1,000. That's your top 5. The Mets are right there at 6 plus 1,100.
Yep. So, I mean, I obviously have to pick the Mets. I'm going to pick the Mets. Dodgers favorite for good reason. Couple of teams that I'm looking at. So we've said this a number of times on the podcast, but these type of bets, these futures really don't make sense if you like somebody in the top 5.
Right.
The only time they make sense is for someone who you think is going to be in that top 5 who's like not right now. And a couple of teams that I like in that case would be the Brewers and the Angels, because I can see them winning their respective divisions. And that just makes sense. If you're going to pick a World Series winner,
Right.
you probably want to pick someone who is going to win their division. Angels, Mike Trout. Brewers, Christian Yelich. So those are pretty much my reasonings behind those two.
I agree with you. The Dodgers are probably going to win, but to place a bet for plus 300, that's going to take from April until October to cash,
and
just doesn't make sense.
And the way I see that division panning out, I see them winning the division. I see the Padres being 100-win wild card team. But throughout the season, I'm sure the Padres will be in first place a couple of times. Mm-hmm. You'll probably get better odds for the Dodgers to win the World Series halfway through the season.
Right. So, like I said, Dodgers are probably going to win, but it's not worth the payout.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather bet the Dodgers to win the first 3 series of the season and get the same payout,
if not better.
Right. Yeah. So a couple sleeper teams I'm looking at, and you might not necessarily call them sleepers. The Blue Jays plus 2,200, great young lineup. Mm-hmm. They got Bo Bichette, who's just fun to watch. They got Vlad Jr., a lot of fun to watch. I mean, a lot of talent on that team.
And yeah, then George Springer too.
Yeah, big pickup for them. And then Ryu is their ace, and he led the National League in ERA just 2 years ago, like the last full season we had. So he's a stud ace to have. He's not, this nobody who's leading that staff. So if they can find some solid pitching behind them, they're going to rival the Yankees in that division, I think, and they could go on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, I have them winning that division solely because the Yankees will be injured for 70% of the year.
Right.
So,
the next up, I have the Cincinnati Reds. They're plus 4,500. They're a team that was also good last year. I mean, they made the postseason. I know it was a shortened year, kind of weird, but they have a dangerous lineup. Sonny Gray is their ace, who is a phenomenal pitcher as long as he's not in pinstripes for whatever reason. Like, he's been pretty good his whole career until he went to New York, and he was
terrible,
absolutely abysmal, which I'm a huge Sonny Gray fan because of that. But they're kind of the other long shot-ish team I'm looking for. They're plus 4,500 to win the whole thing. Not that I think either one of those are probably going to do it. It's probably going to be the Dodgers, but
that's the way to go.
It's hard to go back to back. I mean, look at how good the Astros were when they were cheating, and they could only win 1 of 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but that's the way to do it, because hopefully one of these teams we just listed at 4,500, if they're there at the end, you have great value because they'll be inside 1,000.
Right. All right. Let's start with the AL Cy Young because it's way more interesting than the NL Cy Young.
Yeah, so the AL is more your speed. Obviously, you're the Red Sox fan. It's not going to be Garrett Cole. So let's list the top 5. Garrett Cole is the favorite plus 400. Shane Bieber plus 425. Lucas Giolito.
Yep.
plus 550. Tyler Glasnow plus 1200. Hyun Jin Ryu plus 1300. My pick is Glasnow, and mainly because I bet on him a lot last year. He was very good, but for some reason I always found myself betting on his strikeout over unders, and I feel like I usually won. So I like him. He'll
Not
be my pick.
not a bad pick. I believe last year we did this, and I actually had Bieber,
Yeah, you did.
and he ended up running away with the Cy Young. I'm not picking him to repeat. I'm also not picking Garrett Cole. I'm gonna go with the young guy from the Chicago White Sox. That's Lucas Giolito. He's just got electric stuff. He strikes a ton of guys out. He's gonna win a lot of games. I think he's been around long enough now where he's got the mental aspect too. Um, Plus 550, not as much as I'd like for him, but there's a reason he's the third favorite on here, and it's because he's a phenomenal pitcher. So that's kind of the guy I'm going with. Garrett Cole gets hurt. Shane Bieber bounces back a little bit. Giolito wins the Cy Young.
God forbid Garrett Cole gets hurt. God forbid. Don't root for injuries. But NL Cy Young, I gotta go DeGrom. So favorite Jacob DeGrom plus 400. Right. Second Trevor Bauer plus 600. Max Scherzer plus 700. Walker Buehler plus 900, and Yu Darvish plus 1,000. I like that Yu Darvish pick too, though. What are you thinking?
I actually texted you earlier and said that I hate that I have to pick DeGrom and Trout.
Yeah.
Like those are the obvious ones. They're the ones who are gonna win. But DeGrom plays for the Mets. I mean, he won a Cy Young, winning what, like 10 games that 1 year. Yeah. He had like a 1.9 ERA and won 9 games.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The Mets pitchers get hurt all the time.
I'm nervous about this.
He hasn't. Know. He's the one guy who hasn't, so he's due. If he stays healthy, he's going to win the Cy Young, but I don't think he can stay healthy this many years in a row. No pitcher does. All pitchers go through something at some point. So,
and he's getting faster. His pitching is getting faster. His spring training, he was hit 101, I think, and he's never been a 3-digit guy. So it's just it's not fair. But I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, this is the year, because it's like we say it every year. This is the Mets' most promising year.
Right.
But it's true. Every year it seems more promising than the last, probably because they let us down every year. But what can go wrong this year? It's DeGrom. So I am nervous.
This is not my pick, but I actually like another guy on the Mets. If I were to pick a long shot, I would pick Noah Syndergaard. He honestly, if like you talk to baseball people, he has the best stuff on that staff. He's not the best pitcher, but he was
the guy. 5 years ago, it was him, then DeGrom.
Right. But he's got the best stuff. He has the ability to be the best pitcher. I don't know if it's the mental aspect, what it is about him that he's not. But if he can put it all together, he might be a better pitcher than DeGrom, which is saying a lot because DeGrom is probably the best pitcher in baseball right now. So if I'm going to pick like a real long shot, I would take him. But I'm going with Aaron Nola at plus 1,200. I think he's 6th on the list here. He was 3rd in Cy Young voting just a couple years ago. He's a phenomenal young guy, had a couple off years. I think he's going to bounce back, and he's my pick there at the 6th spot.
Nice.
This just in, Sabres won for the first time in 19 games.
That means they don't get the record, right? I think this was going to be for the record for most consecutive losses.
Right. You would think they could do one thing right and at least get a record.
It's like the Brett Favre interception record. All right, next up, AL MVP. Like you said, these odds are even just ridiculous. Right. So Mike Trout favorite plus 250. Little bit of a drop off to Alex Bregman plus 1,000. Then Aaron Judge plus 1,200. Jose Ramirez plus 1,200, and Louis Roberts plus 1,500. Yeah, you kind of got to go Trout here. You're going to be an idiot if you don't.
Right. But if you don't go Trout, are you thinking anyone long shot or no?
I mean, again, AL really isn't my territory. I like Rendon, but that's about it.
So I got a couple picks here. One, you might say because I'm a diehard Red Sox fan that I'm picking this guy, but I got some numbers to back it up too. Rafael Devers is 15th on that list at plus 3,000. 2 years ago, last full season, 311 batting average, 32 home runs, 54 doubles, 115 runs batted in as a
Okay.
22-year-old.
Yeah.
Those are just insane numbers.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane as a 22-year-old. Red Sox down a little bit, but that's mostly pitching. They don't have any pitching. They still have a solid lineup even after losing, Betts last year. I mean, they still have Xander Bogaerts. They still have JD Martinez. They still have a solid lineup. He's going to be right in the middle of that lineup. So he's a guy that could potentially put together a similar type season. If he hits, 315 with he ups those home runs to about 40 and has another 120 RBIs, he'll be in the conversation. And the thing that's changed in baseball recently is because of Mike Trout. Used to be you had to be on the winning team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was the good guy on the winning team won MVP.
Right.
The Angels never make the playoffs, and Mike Trout keeps winning them.
Right.
So he's a guy I'm kind of looking at long shot. And the other guy is Shohei Ohtani.
Okay.
And that's just strictly because what a unique guy, right? Like he
Right.
can go
Yeah.
out there. He's got potential to hit 30 home runs and win 15 games.
Right.
People were worried about his velocity. He's throwing 97 in spring training, like the velo's there. So
he was hurt last year, right?
he had Tommy John, so he was
Okay.
only hitting.
Right.
But he's fully recovered from Tommy John. Like I said, he's throwing 97. So, I mean, he's literally going to go out there. He's going to DH. He's going to hit, maybe 25, 30 home runs. And then if he wins 15 games, like,
yeah, that's exciting.
I mean, that's MVP.
Yeah.
When you're doing both of those things.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool. What an awesome player.
Right. So he's plus 3,500 to win it all. Those are kind of the two guys I'm looking at. I kind of hope it's Ohtani, even though I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
I would love to see him if he can do that, like 30 home runs, 15 wins thing. That would be
it'd just be
that's
awesome
crazy
to watch.
Yeah.
All right, then NL MVP, we got Mookie Betts plus 700, Juan Soto plus 750, Fernando Tatis Jr. plus 800, Cody Bellinger plus 850, and Ronald Acuna at plus 950. Is there anyone here that you like?
There's a lot of guys here I like. That's the problem with the National League. It's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I mean, Mookie Betts really the only guy to dethrone Trout in the past. Obviously, phenomenal player. The issue with him is he's surrounded by so much talent. Is that gonna? I mean, the Dodgers are first and fourth on this list, so that might take some away. Tatis, obviously, at 3 there. I like him a lot, but I'm actually going to go with Juan Soto, another young guy who's put up ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous stats his first few years in the majors. Not really a long shot. He's the second guy to win, but I mean, there's 10 guys probably in the National League that could win it. But that's my pick right there, Juan Soto.
Yeah, I mean, I got to back my guy Lindor now. So don't really have much of a choice there. But I'm also a big Christian Yelich fan. So that's the type of thing where, if the Brewers can win that division, that just helps his case that much more. So I like those two guys there. But we'll see how the season goes. And other things you can bet on future-wise, like I saw, what pitcher will have the most wins, who will have the most strikeouts. DeGrom was the favorite for most wins. I wish I could just be like, no, he won't.
No. Yes or no?
Yeah. Will DeGrom have most wins? I wish I could pick no.
Right.
But
most strikeouts, maybe. But
yeah, strikeouts, I was going to take him there. And then, obviously most home runs, most hits. The win over under is cool. I really like that bet. I've actually never taken one of those. I had a bet in mind for win total. I was going to take the over for the Cubs. The Cubs win total is 78.5. They're supposed to be not great, but they still have, Javi Baez and Chris Bryant,
Right.
and they both had bad years. So if they can kind of get back to their old selves, they could be decent. They could even,
Right.
and that division's awful. So
Yeah.
everybody could tie at 78 games.
I don't know if that's I mean, I'm sure it is mathematically possible, but it's like
But
what was it? The NFC East.
yeah, they could have gotten in at 4-12.
Right.
NFL officially announced 17 game season.
Yep.
We all knew it was happening anyways, but goodbye 8-8s.
Oh, good point.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you could bet win totals already before they announced it.
Huh. Probably not. But
And they would probably void them anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Last up real quick here. I'm not going to do a full explanation. I'm just going to give you my picks. I'm going Doug Gim, top 20 for the Valero Open at plus 275. Cam Davis, plus 400, top 10. Winner / top 5, Scotty Scheffler, that's plus 1,400, plus 300.
Surprised Scotty Scheffler's playing. Do you think a lot of these guys are playing just because they want to get? Is it too late to get into the Masters?
Nope.
Or if they win, they get
So
in?
Corey Connors did that 2 years ago. Won this tournament, got to play the next week at the Masters. I do, off the record, I'm probably just as a Ricky fan, going to sprinkle some money on him. He's plus 7,500 to win this tournament. I'm probably going to throw a little bit on him. Because
Wait, who is it again?
Ricky Fowler.
Oh, okay.
Because he's not qualified for the Masters. He's not playing in the Masters next week. But
oh, no.
That's a Ricky move to go out there and win this tournament. Yep. He's plus 7,500, so he's a long shot to win this tournament. But
he's gonna reel me back in. I've been off the Ricky train for a while.
Right. So I was thinking about. I think he's plus 600 for top 10. So I was thinking about taking him top 10 and to win it, just because he wants to win this. He wants to play next week. There's probably nobody in this tournament who wants to win it more than him. I just don't know if he has the stuff to do it.
We got to expand Problem Gambling Awareness Month.
Right. One more week.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely betting on Ricky now.
Yep.
So.
Yep. That is a Ricky Fowler storyline right there.
Yeah, you're dead on. But all right, you got anything else for us?
Nope.
All right, so that'll wrap it up here for us at the VIG. Ask us some questions on Twitter, and we'll answer them for you next week. See you guys.
All right, go Sox. See ya. Oh, no. Cancel.